Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my video. Today I'm back finally. It's been a while since the Watford game. I've been on holiday though, so I've had the week off, so I didn't do the Norwich game, and I've not done any transfer news recently. But we are back. This week is going to be full on. We're going to try and upload every day of the week. Today we are doing my ideal Manchester City 11 for the 2020-21 season. I'm going to do it now before we get all the transfer rumours in. Obviously Ake and Torres look done. I'm going to wait to make a video on that until they get officially announced by the club. But they are done deals now. But yeah, like I said, we're going to try and do a video every day this week to try and make up for the lack of videos last week. We're going to be keeping up on all the transfer news, and obviously Madrid is around the corner now. It's on Friday. I will be doing a live stream for that, so if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and leave a like on the video. Turn notifications on so that you are notified the second that live stream goes live and all the videos this week go live. Like I said, today is all about my dream Man City starting 11 for this new season. Like I said, some of the transfers will have already happened. Some of them won't, and they will just be ideal transfers. But yeah, let's get on into the video. Starting at the back with the goalkeepers, it's pretty simple. At the start, in my starting 11, Edison is the goalkeeper for the new year. Got the Golden Glove this season after he beat Nick Pope to the most clean sheets, getting one more than him after a clean sheet against Norwich. Bit of a scare early on in that game after we conceded, but VAR ruled it out, rightly so, and he got the Golden Glove as a result. So he'll be my keeper. In terms of squad depth, because I will be mentioning the squad depth as well, Bravo looks set to leave. I'm pretty confident he is going to be leaving. So I'd like to see Zach Steffen come in as number 2. Don't know much about him, but from what I've heard, it seems like an alright keeper. Anyway, that's the most basic position out of the way. Now moving on to right back. Right back, again, it seems pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to go in with Walker and Cancelo. Walker as the number 1. Walker, this season, probably one of our standout performers alongside the likes of Mahrez and De Bruyne. Very, very solid season. Cancelo, on the other hand, not such a great season. Towards the end, looked a bit stronger. Against Madrid, likely we're going to see him play left back. I'm still not too sure about him. Can't defend very well, but a very, very good option to have, especially against the lesser teams. So, and going forward, like I said, he's very good, and we saw that in recent games. It is just the defensive side that I've got a problem with. But as a number 2, you really, really can't complain. And as we've seen with the likes of Mahrez and Bernardo, second season syndrome always seems to hit our players under Guardiola. So you're back into have a much better season next year. Moving on into the left back position. This is probably one of the most talked about positions in the Manchester City starting 11 at the moment. I thought he was very good towards the end of the season. Now he's getting game time. He's looking back a bit closer to his best. So I would like to see him stay in the starting 11. In terms of left back start, I'd like to see Angelino and Zinchenko leave the club. I think they're both likely to leave. Angelino potentially on another loan to maybe Leipzig, and Zinchenko I can see him going as well. Got nothing against Zinchenko, had a very, very good season last year, and to be fair, he's always tried his hardest, never complains about any of that. It's just, I think he's a bit behind it. And as well, it's not even his fault, he is a midfielder, and obviously as a midfielder, he's not good enough to be in our starting 11. So for that reason, I'd like to see him leave. Also just help balance out the net spend figures as Liverpool fans would go on about. And in replacement as a backup left back, I'd like to see David Alaba. He wouldn't necessarily be a backup, he would just be someone that comes in the squad. You kind of rotate it pretty much, what I'm trying to say. But offers us quite a bit more. Mendy is a direct wide player, and he will bomb down the wings and put crosses in. However, Alaba, on the other hand, he's played with Pep already, he knows how Pep plays, and we had actually seen him at Bayern play sort of more centrally, which could benefit us if we choose to go with the inverted wing backs and play the double pivot that we sometimes like to, with the holding midfielder dropping in to a back 3. So it just kind of offers us more tactically, I think, if we send someone like Alaba. Age-wise, not really age on his side. However, that equally means that his price will be a bit lower. But at the age of 28, you'd say he could probably give us another 4 years at the top level, which I think is easily enough when you consider he's probably going to cost us, I don't really know how much it would cost us, but it wouldn't be too much. And you don't want to overspend. And I'd say so far, our business has been very good with Ake and Torres, obviously, getting them both for 60 million. So if we continue along that kind of lines, I'd be very, very satisfied. Now moving on to the left centre-back position, obviously you've got Laporte in the starting 11 and Ake as the number 2. Laporte, in my opinion, second best defender in the league behind Virgil van Dijk. The best left-footed centre-back in the league by a long distance. Although I say that, Ake is also a very, very solid player. Definitely the type of player I've wanted to see us buy for a while now. 40 million, debatably, 5 or 10 million too much, but when you consider we got Torres for 20 million, absolutely fine business, I think. It's the homegrown quota as well, which will help, and decent age, I think he's 24 or 25. I mean, he's got another 6-7 years at a good level, and for a number 2, you'd back him very, very strongly. And also, yes, we may have overspent on Ake, but if I'm completely honest, I have no problems overspending to a club like Bournemouth. I think they're on quite bad debt at the moment, so I have no problems helping them out there. But yeah, I think Ake and Laporte as two left-footed centre-backs, that is very, very good going from Cheeky. Moving on to the right side of centre-back, I would like to see us have Garcia as number 2. On that topic, he may be leaving to Barca. Hopefully we get to keep him. I think every City fan is saying we want to keep him. He's looked good in the restart. But who knows, if he wants to go to Barca, we're not going to stop him. His deal ends next year, meaning that if they want to get him realistically, we're just going to have to let him go. Though it depends how much for. If they only offer us like 10 mil, there's no reason for us to let him go this season. However, if he goes, I would probably like to see us keep hold of Stones. Currently, in this squad, I'd like to see us get rid of Otamendi and Stones, try and balance out the books again. But if Garcia does go, I'd happily keep Stones as a second choice. Personally, I've always backed Stones. I still think he's a great centre-back. Only problem with him is injuries, and if you can get £30 million, I'd say, for a player who's probably only fit for a third of the season, I think you've got to let him go, because when fit, he plays as genuinely, I think, one of the best centre-backs in the league. But he's just not played a run of games yet this season for me to prove that he's able to do it. So for that reason, let him go. And as the number 1 choice right-sided centre-back, I would go with Kalidou Koulibaly. Right now, it's looking like the club is willing to only pay a max of 60 million. I think it's guaranteed will go up. I would pay up to 70, potentially 80 million. Actually, I'm not sure if I'd go 80. I'd probably stick to 70. I'm not keen on the idea of having the world record for the highest and most expensive defender in the world. So for that reason, I'd probably hold off on that one. If not, who knows who we're going for? Maybe someone like Skriniar, but I'm not sure he's what we need. Also talk of Diego Carlos, but again, I'm not sure what I'd want. Koulibaly, age-wise, quite old. I think he's like 29, which is one reason why you'd maybe say it's not right to go for him for such a high price. But for a defender, you can probably say you'll get another 4 years out of him at a high level. If you think Van Dijk is 29 now, and you'd say he's the best defender in the world. So I don't think that's really too much of an issue. And right now, we need a short-term fix. Because if you think about it, if we just get Koulibaly as a main choice for, let's say, 3 years, then in that time, you let Garcia slowly get game time to the point where he can take over at the point Koulibaly is done. Anyways, that is the back line complete. Just to go through that again, we've got Edison in goal. We've got Mendy or Alaba at left back. Not too sure I'd go as number 1 there. Depends what type of game it is, I reckon. I'd have Walker as number 1 at right back, Koulibaly and Laporte as our 2 centre backs. Now moving on into the holding midfield position. There's 3 players I think that can play in this role next season. Fernandinho, you've got to keep him around. I think his contract's at the end of next year. We'll most likely let him go at the end of next year as well, I think, because at that point I think we'll be done. The good thing about Fernandinho is he can play as a centre-back if we have another injury crisis at the back. And in holding midfield, again, he's a very, very solid player. The choice I've got in this position is Gundogan. I know he can play as a higher-up player, sort of an 8. But personally, I just don't rate him there. When he's playing deeper, he's got more time on the ball, I find, and he's better at picking up the passes moving forward. Whereas when he's further forwards, I just feel like he looks lost sometimes. So I would definitely class him as that position, although you could definitely see him playing higher at the pitch when necessary, because as you're about to find out when I go to that position, I kind of realised we're actually a lot lighter in that position than I originally thought. And the main choice I have in the holding midfield role is Rodri. Very, very happy to keep Rodri in that position. I think he had a very, very good start of the season, to be fair. It's a very difficult position to be in, I think. Especially in our team, I think you'll find you get left quite exposed in that role. His passing accuracy was great. I thought he was a bit of a beast, if I'm honest. I think he had a very underrated season. I don't think people fully appreciated how good he did in that role. Yes, he was no Fernandinho of last season, but you can't compare the two, because Fernandinho, even in his first season, wasn't anything special really. It took him a few years to make that role his own. And like I said, it's not an easy position to be in. So over time, he will definitely get better. Still young, still only like 24. And if you think Fernandinho didn't sign for us till he's about 25, Rodri's got a good career at City ahead of him, I think. Now moving on into that sort of 8/10 position, the 2 attack midfielders that we always seem to play with. You've got kind of 3 players I think you can play there. You have Foden, who's got to play that position. I know he's been playing out wide, but he's not a winger. He's played very well out wide, to be fair to him. But in the middle, I just think it's going to be different. He's going to be special. And I know people right now are probably saying Greenwood's probably just a little bit better than him. I disagree, and I think Foden next year will prove that. You've obviously got De Bruyne. He'll be playing on the right side of that attacking midfield role. Seems to have had a very, very good partnership with Mahrez this year, I found. Loves to play the 1-2s with the kind of winger. And has also got a stellar cross in him, as we found out. That's why he got 20 assists this year. in my opinion, should have had at least 21, if not more. Got robbed of 2 against Arsenal and 1 against Norwich. The final player I've got in this role is Bernardo Silva. I know he's been playing out on the right, but this year he's just not been the same, has he really? Not saying at all he's had a bad year, just not. Last year he carried us the league, in my opinion. Without Bernardo Silva last year, I do not believe that we win the Premier League. I know Sterling was closest to winning Player of the Year for us, but Bernardo Silva won Etihad Player of the Year, and in my opinion should have comfortably been able to win the Premier League Player of the Year. But, it's just how it is. De Bruyne's going to get robbed of it this year. Bernardo got robbed of it last year. That's how it goes. But like I said, we are a little bit short in that position. Potentially, you could see us going into the market for another player, but when you consider Gundogan can also play that position, you're potentially going to see Tommy Doyle work his way into that kind of role. Although I'm not sure if Tommy Doyle is a deeper or more attacking player. I don't fully know on that. Potentially, Cole Palmer might slowly start to find his way into the squad as well next season. As we move higher up, we're now going to go on to the right wing position. I have got Riyad Mahrez and Fernand Torres on that side. Mahrez this year, one of the standout performers, got 10 goals this year. I think last year we saw Mahrez, he had potential. We all knew he was good. He had the quality to be world class, but we didn't really see it other than maybe slight glimpses at Brighton away when he won us the league. And so I think it's a definite that he will be holding down that role next year. And obviously the sign of Fernand Torres I think is a great one. Can't say I've ever watched him, so I'm not going to get too hyped up. But for £20 million in the current market, when you consider Manchester United paying 120 million for Jadon Sancho, we're going to get, I think we're going to get around 12 million of that anyway. So Jadon Sancho has nearly paid. Well, Jadon Sancho's sale, when you consider he was out of contract, has actually paid for Fernand Torres. Like I said, don't know too much about him, but for 20 million, you can't go wrong. Interested to see how he's going to do. I think he had the 3rd most chances created in La Liga last year, so absolutely no complaints with that signing. I'm very happy to see him on the right, but who knows, we could potentially even see him on the left. Talking of the left-hand side, we're now moving over there, and I've got Sterling as obviously the main choice on the left. Leaving the comments down below, would you see Sterling as a left winger or a right winger? I think it definitely changes from time to time. I'd say going into this year, I was definitely more of a fan of him on the right, but the problem is, with the way the team works, when you've got Mendy on the left and Walker on the right, I definitely think it makes more sense for him to go on the left. I think when someone like, if we were to sign Alaba and you play with the inverted fullbacks and you were to go with a double pivot, I would say Sterling has to play on the right because you need the width and you'd need a left-footed player on the left. But when Mendy plays, I genuinely think, I don't think people give it enough credit how much better that makes Sterling. I think there's a reason why Sterling had a massive goal drought this year, and then Mendy comes back in the team and all of a sudden he starts banging in goals. So I would say when Mendy plays, Sterling has to play on the left, and at that point he becomes world class. Now it's a bit of a surprise, I've actually gone with Jesus as our second left winger. I don't see us signing another left winger, just because it doesn't seem like common sense. I think just because from what I've heard, that's not likely to happen. I don't think we're looking at left winger. And the talk is that we are looking at a striker on top of a centre back, and ideally a left back. So I've actually gone and signed another striker in this ideal 11. I moved Jesus out to the left, because as much as I rate Jesus, I love Jesus, his work rate is second to none. Against Madrid in the first leg, it was one of the best performances I've ever seen from a player in a City shirt. So yeah, on his day it can be world class, but I'm just not sure he's a striker. We saw at Palmeiras, he was a left winger. For Brazil, he plays down the middle as a number 9, and I think he might struggle to get into the Brazil team on the left. But I think it's just where we've got to see him play. He's got the work rate to do it, he's going to work up and down the pitch. We saw against Madrid. His work rate is incredible, like I just said, so he suits us on the left-hand side. And like I said, at youth level, he was a left winger, so he can definitely play out there. But I'm just not sure he's got the finishing touch to be able to play through the middle as a 9. So for that reason, I've got Sterling and Jesus on the left, with Sterling as my number 1. However, Jesus could still play through the middle, same with Sterling, to be fair. So for striker, I've gone for Aguero and Erling Haaland. First of all, just put it out there, this is my dream 11. So pretty much all of these are fully realistic. They could all happen. Haaland, I accept, is not realistic whatsoever. But I'd have to say he would be the dream. If we're going to sign a striker, he's the one you want. He has literally made Manchester City. He has been to City games. He has a City shirt. His dad played for City. And not only that, but on the pitch, he's perfect. He has that bit of height, that pace, and that finishing instinct that we just badly need. And I'm gutted we didn't sign him for whatever the £20 million that Dortmund paid for him, but I'd pay upwards of 70 million for him because he is genuinely world class. And obviously Aguero, it speaks for himself. Gutted he wasn't able to get the 20 goals this year to break the record, Thierry Henry's record. to break Thierry Henry's record of most consecutive 20 plus goals in a season. But that's how it is. He got injured and as a result didn't get it. But yeah, that is my ideal starting 11 for Man City next year. Just to run through it again, we've got Ederson in goal, Mendy or Alaba at left back, Walker at right back, Koulibaly, Laporte at the back, Rodri in hold midfield. Probably as your main choice attacking field, I would probably go with De Bruyne and Foden, but Foden, Bernardo, they can all just interchange, to be fair. And realistically, they will do. Mahrez on the right, Sterling on the left, and Aguero through the middle. So not too many changes there, but just strength in depth massively there compared to this year. And I do think that team could definitely challenge for a title. I'm not sure if it will. We'll leave the Premier League predictions though until the new season begins on the 14th of September. And if that's all for me today, make sure to subscribe, leave a like if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Goodbye.